are you on this lovely Thursday? Um, I have a couple of things that have been arising that I'd like to share. So, someone sent in a dream, and I'm so grateful to her for sending in a dream because I think it's pertinent, and I think all of your dreams are pertinent. So, I hope you're paying attention. I hope you're journaling them because they're really uncovering even more than they ever have before. The guidance coming from our dream time, um, people having more vivid dreams or remembering their dreams. So many interesting things are happening in dream time right now. So I'm going to talk a little bit about dreams. I'm going to give some guidance on this dream. So from this beautiful lady who sent hers in, but also think about the guidance for you because it's for everybody. You know, I look at it as guidance in that way. So it's a little animal magic. And then someone asked about woodpeckers. And so I'm going to talk about woodpeckers, animal magic with that. The healing, the medicine, the guidance that woodpeckers bringing. And then I'm going to, of course, give some guidance. So all of it's guidance, but it's really interesting right now. My dream space has been, wow, it's had a lot of alchemy happening. And not all of our dreams have alchemy, right? Some of them can be more problem solving, dress rehearsal, instead of like really alchemizing initiation or allowing ourselves to integrate initiation or anything that we've been bringing in and clearing out. And dreams can show us this, but they can also show us, you know, more mundane things. But a lot of people are also having prophetic types of dreams. Those are really interesting too. So let's begin. The first dream, and I took some notes because I wanted to make sure I had her dream correct. The first dream I want to talk about, the only one really, is about 3 snakes. And so again, when I talk about this dream and I do just a little bit of dream interpretation for this beautiful woman, I want you to also, you the audience, think about how this applies in your life because you're listening to it, right? So this is a form of guidance for you as well. So she was bitten by 3 snakes. She was bitten 3 times, okay? And so I'm going to just kind of go over her dream quickly. She was protecting her dog from these snakes. She grabbed the snake by the neck and it turned around and bit her right arm. It was a brown snake. And then another snake came. She grabbed the snake by its neck. It was a black snake. Turned around and bit her on her right arm. And then again, a last snake came, and it was, let's see, it was bright neon green orange with stripes. And she felt it was poisonous. And she held it away so it couldn't bite her. But then she looked down, and fangs were in her arms. And she asked for her husband to call the emergency room, and then she removed the fangs out of her arms. That was it. That's what she remembers. That's pretty powerful. We have a lot of symbology in there. So the first thing that I want to say when you're looking at your dreams is, you know, what is the season during awake time? That means your reality. What is the season that you're dreaming in? That tells you a lot because right now for me, I'm in winter season. You know, living in North America, it's winter time. And so this is the time of incubation, time of going within, cocooning, that void time of rest. So it's not highly active time. Even with projects, it's not highly active time. It's a time of rest and a time of recuperation, rejuvenation, diving within to explore those deeper, darker places that are the void where we can alchemize and we can create from, okay? So then you also want to look at the moon and see where was the moon dancing and what constellation, what sign was the moon dancing in while you had this dream? What was the moon phase? Was it a new moon, the dark moon, right? The waxing moon, the full moon, the waning moon. All of that's important, actually. Now, you don't have to do all of that if you don't want to, but it does add extra flavors and layers to your dreams and meanings. So, here we go. The main things that stood out to me were the snakes, which probably stood out to you as well, and being bitten, and the dog, right? Then what stood out to me was her grabbing the neck of the snake and her right arm. So we have the number 3. 3 snakes. She was bitten 3 times, and she held onto their necks 3 times. So we have 3, 3, and 3. Normally, I would say that this is a prophetic dream, which I will say, yes, it is, but not in the way that we think it is. And then I would ask her, though, I would say, did you feel like when you woke up that this felt really real, or that something was going to occur because of this dream? You know, some kind of symbolic prophecy, right? So it's really up to the dreamer to determine that, okay? I'm just the guide. So right arm, I would ask her next, is your right arm your what you write with, dominant hand, or is it your left hand? If it's your right hand, whatever your dominant hand is what you're giving out to the world, what you're presenting to the world, your face to the world. It's the energy that you're giving out to people, the energy and focus that you're giving to something. Okay, the left would be the receiving, or the non-dominant hand would be receiving. So here we have the number 3. It can represent the cycles of life, birth, death, rebirth. It can also represent maiden, mother, wise woman, or young warrior / young lover in the male aspect, right? Old sage, or sorry, young king, or middle king, middle-aged king, and then old sage, right? Wise wizard, wizened wizard. So, I would look at all of that within yourself, those divine aspects and the birth, death, and rebirth cycle, because these are cycles, especially since you had 3 threes in your dream. Okay. This is also about vibration, the vibration of the number 3 and the 3 bites, and the fact that she held on to the neck of the snake. The neck is where our creative expression arises. It's also where we can heal with our voice. We can intone or call things into being, manifest as well with our voice. And so when you've heard about people calling into being or calling upon, we're calling forward into our life aspects, energy, frequencies, right? When you call someone out, you're calling them out on their truth, right? So also we can intone to bring the vibration and frequency of healing, of love, light, rejuvenation, whatever it is that you intend, and whatever pitch or tone that you're intoning, okay? So the fact that she's squeezing that, and the snake does represent birth, death, rebirth, and it's a female energy, and most belief systems is an aspect of awakened energy, awakened sight with the third eye, awakened vision, awakened kundalini and shakti rising. Okay, so I would look at all of these different things, and the snake biting on your right hand, your wrist. So the wrist is a very vulnerable place, right? In this area, this is vulnerable. So this would be more of a defense, blocking something, and this would be vulnerable. So I would ask the dreamer, where were you bitten? Which part? It matters. And so were you more protecting that bite? And why? Okay, you were afraid of the bite. You didn't want poison. Okay. So maybe there are other reasons, though. A dog represents unconditional loyalty, companionship, even love, unconditional love, unconditional happiness and joy, So it's really that loyalty and companionship. And you were protecting that loyalty and companionship from perhaps the shedding off of old, because snakes shed their skin. They release what's no longer needed and rebirth themselves. So what is it that you're releasing, perhaps? Something that you're giving out to the world, or the snake's telling you, don't release that, you still need it. So think in these terms, right? So I won't go too deep into the dream, but these are just some thoughts and ideas, all right? But so the creative expression and everything that I said about that. So I would look at the color of the snake. The first one was a brown snake. And, that's a very earthy color. So think about you, dreamer, how you feel about the color brown. The second snake was black. That's the void, the unknown subconscious of ourselves, the shadow even, but it's the void where all things can be pulled out, called into creation, right? The womb aspect, that womb aspect of darkness, of going within, of incubation, okay? Now, I'm going to kind of fast forward through this. So we have the snake that was bright neon green with orange and orange stripes. And she felt that it was poisonous. But this is actually a plains snake. Okay, it's a garter snake. This description is a garter snake, which means they are non-poisonous. All right. So I find that interesting that she dreamt about a snake feeling like it was poisonous, but it's actually a snake really looks like this. It's called a garter snake. It's in the plains regions. I grew up with them and they're not poisonous. So what would this say if you felt that the snake was poisonous? That could tell you that there's an illusion going on here. You're under the impression that something is poisonous to you. And so I would say this to the dreamer. Perhaps look at these things. Perhaps because of everything that's changing in the world right now, and look at your own environment, look at your relationships, look at what that dog represents to you. What does your dog represent to you? You know, so think about what everything represents to you, dreamer, because that's most important, more important than what I'm saying. But, you know, all of this, we are evolving. The earth is ascending, and so are we. We are waking up to our truth. We're waking up to sovereignty, unity, freedom. We are waking up to the union of divine masculine and feminine. We are awakening our knowingness and our truth of who we are, who we truly are, and our ability as creator beings. Okay, so perhaps these old ways, the paradigms, the dimensions of what's been going on, this, you know, dimension that has been and that we're moving into this fifth dimensional beingness. So the old stuff is illusion, right? And perhaps it's poisonous to you, right? And you know this deep inside, that all of these old things are these things that need to shut off and release. You need to release the illusion because they are poisonous to you. And yet you pulled out the thing stuck in you. So maybe there's some old wounds or some old things to pull out and heal, because teeth represent nourishment, and for the snake as well is a defense, right? So maybe pull out that control, that defense, that whatever you feel is stuck and what that represents to you. But you have the ability to heal yourself. You can pull that out. You can pull out those illusions. You can let go of those old patternings. You can allow yourself to see the new light that is emerging within you and within the world. So think about that, dreamer. Think about how you feel about that. Now I'm going to move into animal magic. So someone asked me about seeing woodpeckers, and she saw a mother and two young. Okay, I took notes on this as well so I could move through this. So again, we have a 3. So I would say for you listening to this, 3 is very prominent right now. So think about the number 3 and what I was saying about the symbology of it, okay? And 3 is not only a holy sacred number, but a number of, you know, rebirth to me. So think about what it is for you, all right? It's also a number of prophetic energy to me, prophetic weavings. So when we look at the mother, we want to look at the direction of the west. The direction of west holds the chalice, the womb, the waters of life. So the chalice is the magical tool of the west, which is the everlasting life. The creative waters flow within. And the mother is about mothering and nurturing, and water is about cleansing and anointing and initiating, purifying, nourishing. We are made of water too, the seas. It's about the celestial seas and the seas within ourselves, the emotions, and riding the tides of life and seasons. a lot, right? I could go on, but I won't. So we want to look at that when we look at mother, okay? The direction of west, okay? The element of water. So woodpecker is about rhythm and discrimination. So if you see woodpecker, think about, does your rhythm need to change in your life? Does your environment? Are you discriminating too much, or do you need to, um, do a little bit more discernment, right? Are you, and discriminating meaning, thinking about what works for you and what doesn't. That's what woodpecker is saying. Like, look around you. What do you need to discern that is right for you and what isn't? Sift it out. And, is there someone around you? Are there others around you that you need to discern whether or not they're healthy for you? What activities do you need to bring in and let go of? So here again, we kind of have this need of rhythm in your life. Is the rhythm working for you? And what does rhythm mean? It's our daily lives. What in your environment is working for you? What with relationships is working for you or is not? Okay. Also, maybe you need to change your rhythm in your daily life. Maybe the getting up and the way you brush your teeth or you get ready for the day isn't working anymore. Maybe you need to add something new. The rhythm of the heartbeat also. The heartbeat is connected to Mother Earth, is connected to your internal heartbeat. And this is what the woodpecker brings with the magic of that knocking on wood, that, pecking away is a rhythmic beat. And so, since this beautiful person saw a mother and two young, there are two, let's see, I wrote this, two small changes coming, because woodpecker is also the bringer of change. And so you have one big, that mother direction of the west, element of water. So think about that and what that means for you. You have one big change there in that mothering aspect. Okay, and that doesn't necessarily mean that you're a physical mother in life, but you are a physical mother, a mother to yourself. Okay, we all are mothers to ourselves, no matter what gender you identify with. And then who else do you play that mothering role with, right? And so the two young, there's two small changes coming as well. Two baby changes that you'll grow those changes. They'll continue to expand and grow. So you want to think about your heartbeat connected to the earth. Are you slowing your rhythm down enough to listen to your heart, to what your heart is asking you to listen to its guidance? Are you slowing down enough to listen? Or is your heart beating rapidly with anxiety? Okay. So fertility is also symbolized by the woodpecker. Thunder, woodpecker also in some cultures are known as thunderbirds, connected to Zeus. And so that would be, this Atlantean thunder, this white light or yellow light, however you see it. But thunder can be a fast idea, a lightning bolt of recognition, of illumination, a zap of energy. Think about what thunder means to you, right? Also, since you saw these beautiful woodpeckers, and if anybody sees woodpeckers, think about where Mars is in your chart. I know, I could go into that, but it would take a bit. So woodpeckers also asking you to open to the changes and shifts of yourself, as well as dimensional shifts. So again, we have this message, right? So two people with the number 3 and dimensional changes and shifting and opening, this ascension process we're going through. Physical activity is also brought by woodpecker. Are you doing physical activity? Because while we might be, working on that spiritual connection and, the inner this and that, we also need to be working on our temple of light, our physical beingness, our bodies. So physical activity is very important. If you're seeing woodpecker, it's saying, what are you doing for your physical activity? How are you honing your instrument of light? Because this is your instrument to heal, to receive, to reciprocity, to work through, to connect, to anchor the light. All right, so really important. Then the last thing I'll say about woodpecker for this person is, well, a couple of things. Yeah, okay, I was just listening also, is to dig in and get something done. Because that's what woodpecker has to do to get into the tree, is to dig in. So there's something maybe in your life, an environment, especially if you heard them chattering and talking, they're trying to get your attention. They're singing. They're want you to hear their talk, their sound. Again, it has to do with rhythm, and it has to do with digging in. Dig in. Okay, to get something done. It might have to do with relationship, or your environment, or a project. So think about that. But the foundation and structure is there. I'm hearing for you, the person asking about woodpecker, and anybody else that resonates with this, that the foundation and structure is there for you. It's safe for you to follow your own rhythm, your truth, your path. That's your rhythm. Your heart is compass now, and it's time to do it now. Okay, and I know that can be really, sometimes it can make us sweat, sometimes it can make our heart palpitate, sometimes we think we don't have the energy because people will start, trying to hold us back or tell us that that's, whatever they might say. But you are the keeper of your voice, of your truth. You are the light of your truth and voice. You are the one that stands in it, lives it, creates it. So it's time for you. The foundation and structure is there. Stay true to yourself and follow your own rhythm. Follow your own rhythm. It's time. Okay? And so that's for everyone that has seen woodpecker, but that's also guidance for everyone. So I decided today, for guidance as well, to think about perspective. This is what came in before I answered these two questions. So perspective. What do you want leading you? Who do you want leading you? Your heart, and it kind of goes into these woodpecker and the stream that I was just talking about. Someone else or your heart? Someone else's truth or your truth? This is what I've been hearing to pass forward. What are you going to listen to, right? Your melody is so glorious. It's radiant, unique, and you came here for that. You came here to share that unique voice, that unique melody and light, okay? So detach. Allow yourself to detach in compassion and just watch. Watch those things going around, because I can hear already I can hear you. Some people are saying like, but my partner, my husband, my girlfriend, my boyfriend, whatever, my partner or my family or my friends are saying like all this, talking about what's going on in the world. You don't need that. Dance away from them for a moment. Detach. And what does that mean? Well, if you live with someone, you just smile and go, okay, or just smile. That's their truth. Allow them that. Allow them to work through that, right? And then you just attach in compassion. Observe with love. And hold your truth, walk your truth, sing your truth, dance your truth. Follow it. Follow your rhythm. You don't have to explain yourself to anybody. That's not love, is having to explain yourself. You don't have to explain yourself. You are uniquely you, okay? And so allowing yourself to manifest with joy. Sing, dance first before you set your intention. Sing and dance, sing and dance. Uplift yourself, call forward in voice and in joy. Raise your vibration, raise your frequency before you start setting your intention. So start that practice for yourself, whether it's in the morning, the afternoon, the evening. Raise that for yourself, okay? And see how that feels. So you set your frequency through joy, through love, and that's really about being present and in gratitude, right? Yeah, through singing and dancing, even if you don't feel like it. Once you start doing it, your vibration, your frequency will begin to shift and uplift and rise. And then there you are. Now you're ready to set intention. Now you're ready to call forward and manifest into being. So something that I was called to draw for you is a crystal today. So I don't know if you can see this. Ooh, let's see how close I can get it to the camera. Sunstone. And it's sparkly and beautiful and glittery with all that beautiful sun color. And so I'll just give you a few keywords and thoughts about Sunstone as guidance. Leadership, strength, benevolence, abundance of blessings, awakened divine masculine, right? The balanced divine masculine. Fire is the element, Sunstone. And there's both, I think of Bridget because she's a fiery one with grace and beauty. And then I think of Archangel Michael, but I think of a lot of other beings too, you know, the sun beings. So we have these fiery energies. You can see the different aspects of that sun. And it's also sexual energy, sacred sexual energy, which is creativity, right? Having that rise within us, that Kundalini, that Shakti rising within for creative purposes, healing, manifesting, calling into the world the harmony, the joy, the beauty, the frequency rising. All right, so I'm going to draw a card from each deck before I say adieu today. Thank you for joining me. I really am so grateful that you're here with me today. Okay, red. I love it. Because it also goes with what we're talking about with snake and Shakti and Kundalini, just life force energy. So these are my old, they're not old, but I'm redoing the deck a little bit. So it's going to be republished with a few different things. It'll have the original backing to it that I originally intended, as well as the original border that I intended as well, the artist and I. So while this says passion and survival, I want you more, what is coming through is survival in the way of life force energy rising within you, survival of creativity. What nourishes you? What creative force nourishes you for you to continue to grow and expand? Because that's how things blossom, is that they get enough nourishment because they survive, and then they get more to blossom and grow. So think of that life force energy and what we were just talking about with Sunstone. Okay, that beautiful energy. Okay, and then the last card. All right, so your heart light glows bright, keeping you safe all night. So I know a lot of us are going through some interesting dream time, and children as well, but knowing that you are always safe. You always have divine mantle about your shoulders, right? You have the divine spark within you. You are created of the divine, in the divine's image, with, like, meaning you are part of the divine, right? You can't separate that. And so your heart light wraps around you, creates this beautiful, shining it, opening it, keeping it open and expanded, creates this beautiful energy around you, keeping you safe, protecting you. That's the strongest thing, is your heart light protecting you. Okay. Keep it open, expanded, reciprocity, trust it. Again, following your rhythm. Thank you for joining me today. If you have any questions, comments, I'd love to see them below. I'd love to know what you're dreaming. If you want me to answer anything, I'm happy to do it this way on YouTube. And also, you can email me at awakening@melissavirtue.com, and I'd be happy to answer you there. So many blessings.